And that's a mask that goes over your face and helps regulate the breathing. Very commonly used, and in my opinion, probably one of the quickest ways to destroy a relationship, to be honest with you. Imagine making out with Darth Vader every night before you go to bed. That's really what we're talking about there, okay? These CPAP machines are not an answer. They're not a solution. They are a temporary remedy to at least help you get back on track. At the end of the day, you are going to have to make some changes in order to change your sleep cycle and your patterns and your habits. Losing weight is one of them, of course. Changing your sleep posture, changing pillows, that kind of stuff. We'll talk a little bit more about that. Is the proper long-term way to find longevity and be able to wake up refreshed. Spousal arousal syndrome, I couldn't not put this one in there. I just thought it was so funny. Being awakened by your partner snoring, having your sleep disrupted many times throughout the night, and having your concentration at work negatively affected by the resulting fatigue. Well, it sounds like a good start to get home right before dinner and start arguing over something to me. Snoring, that's a big problem there. And there are ways to help with snoring. There's millions of devices out there and everything. At the end of the day, over time, we ask our patients to lose weight. We ask our patients to change their posture, and we get great results with that too. But you have to realize, as important as sleep is to you, as it is a personal thing, you have to realize you're probably affecting somebody else by not getting the proper sleep. So, now that we talked about the science of sleep, I want to move on. We'll talk a little bit about the hot topics that a lot of people want to know about. That's medications and maybe some natural approaches that we can go through there. Popular medications include Ambien and Lunesta, to name a few. By no means am I sponsoring any of these companies. There are hundreds, if not thousands, of different prescription and non-prescription drugs that are out there on the market. Now let's talk a little bit about the pros and cons about them, because I have to be very non-biased and explain to you what they're best used for and what I believe that there are some drawbacks. They're most effective when used sparingly for short-term situations, travel, recovery, as needed basis, a recovery from a surgery type of thing. And you want to make sure the most important thing with them is that within a week of using them, they have noted dependence and tolerance on them. In fact, within a week of using them consistently, you will notice withdrawal symptoms trying to get off them. 1 week. So what do I say? If you're going to use them, let it be for some type of recovery, just because you want to get through pain or discomfort, like you said here before surgery. You just absolutely are completely thrown off cycle when you're traveling out to Europe or something like that and you're trying to get back in time. You need it for something like that, a little bit more understandable. When you're using it for anything else there, you start crossing a very, very thin line there, and you're working your way over into what I really believe to be a danger zone there of consistent drowsiness throughout the day, poor short-term memory, breathing difficulties, addiction. Again, addiction, I keep hitting on that one. It is known as the most addictive narcotic out there. Sleep medications, once you become tolerant to them, you have to take more and more, and you continue with time to become more and more dependent on them. The longer you're on them, the longer it will take to get off them, but there are ways to get off them. So, I'm not going to spend a ton of time on them because I know a little bit safer and natural approach that has worked with a lot of my patients there. Let's go through a couple of these here and talk about some natural supplements. Of course, let me talk about, first and foremost, the pros. Realize that these are a lot safer. The possible tolerance and addictive type of nature of them is completely diminished to a very, very small extent there. Some common ones, like we talk about in our office, are valerian root. That's an herb that calms the neurotransmitters, just calms the nervous system down. Melatonin, very, very common. Most people have heard of melatonin there. It's used when the sleep cycle is disturbed, as in when we're getting 2-hour naps 4 times during the night to equate to our 8 hours. It's also very commonly used with people who are jet lagged, people who are shift workers. They're working all night and they're trying their best to absolutely stay awake during the day there. Tryptophan is another one that's very common. Where have we all heard of tryptophan? Absolutely. Now there's a very, very small dosage in that turkey, although it's probably the huge meal that puts us to sleep more. Amino amino acid that's a precursor to serotonin is converted to melatonin. The side effects are milder and there's a lesser chance of addiction. Of course, I recommend if you can't have a turkey dinner every single night there or a Thanksgiving dinner, look for the supplement. It's widely available. Otherwise, start cooking up that stuffing. Research is limited. Long-term studies have not been conducted, but there's not a lot of money in it, and therefore there will not be a lot of research thrown in its direction. But that being said, the side effects are very, very mild. So there's very little chance that you're going to have to worry about that. And with all natural things, once you come off of them, almost all side effects, if you were to ever have any, resolve themselves within a matter of a couple of weeks. So we talked a little bit about the sleep medications, and we talked a little bit about some of the natural ways to do it. I wanted to come out and just tell you some of the things that I've noticed. I've worked with patients nutritionally that have helped them significantly. These things are tough. If you can take one thing out of here by the end of today, I'm telling you, this will help you sleep here. And over time, incorporate more. Or if you want to just go all at it, try all of these here. Cut out the caffeine. We all know about that. It has a pronounced effect on sleep. It causes insomnia, restlessness. The coffees, the teas, especially the caffeinated teas, and soft drinks that are loaded with sugar, of course, are the obvious ones. Other sources that people probably don't know as well there: cough and cold medicine, over-the-counter medicine, Benadryl, chocolate. Chocolate's caffeinated. So that's another thing to think about. Moving on, avoiding sweets. Well, this is tough because that's when the majority of people are used to having their dessert. No one has dessert for breakfast. They want to have their sweets right before they go to sleep. They want that coffee with some ice cream. They want pastries. That's what's very common. And we see that it's causing that unevenness of blood sugar levels. It's disrupting sleep in the middle of the night because the blood sugar levels fall. And all of a sudden your body is saying to yourself, what is going on? It responds to it, and it almost awakens you out of that sleep and says, hey, what's going on? Eat foods that help you sleep. Carbohydrate-rich snacks, such as whole grain crackers before bedtime, promote sleep. Tryptophan, like we talked about before, that delicious dinner that everyone's got coming up in November. Most of you will get a good night's sleep at least one night this year. Eating magnesium-rich foods. You know, this is a wonderful thing that I've incorporated with a lot of people's diet, even more so than the carbohydrate type of things. Magnesium is a natural sedative. It's relaxing for the muscles. Okay? And it can result in a deficiency, result in difficulty sleeping, constipation, muscle tremors or cramps. We're also about to talk about this thing because that's a very popular thing: restless leg syndrome, irritability, pain, so on and so forth. And is another one of those major causes of sleepless nights for many people. Some of the foods there, I know it might be a little tougher to read because there's a couple little icons in the way there. But magnesium can be found in legumes, seeds, leafy green vegetables, wheat bran, almonds, cashews, molasses, brewer's yeast, and some of the whole grains like we talked about before, such as crackers. And then when all else fails, the old saying is, if you're having a tough time sleeping, mom tells you to go have a what before you go to bed? Let's see if we can all do this on cue. A warm glass of milk. You've heard it. It's still, some things are time tested and they'll never fail there. The reason is, though, is because the calcium in the milk, again,